Well, Rich, the question we wanted answered was, did you feel safe? Because let's be honest, that's the key to getting the fans back.
Welcome to Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden opened its doors to 2,000 people last night, including Johnny Ova and his wife from Deer Park. They got in line carrying their tickets and their test results.
They made us get a PCR test 72 hours before the game, and then we had to bring a copy of that over to us for them to allow us to get in.
Right. Once inside, they settled into their socially distanced seats in the upper level, and Johnny said they felt safe the entire night.
Three-pointer is good.
They had their security guards going, literally walking around, because people would wander a lot. There's only 2,000 people in the entire garden. They had people in the bathrooms, as far as the men's room, just making sure that everybody was there. And then they had, some of the stuff taped off in there too. They would just making sure everybody was wearing their masks and nobody was going crazy.
Johnny said ushers did a good job of enforcing COVID safety rules without being overbearing, and he complimented fellow fans to taking the safety seriously and making the Garden sort of feel like home again.
And the game is tied.
Was it just like old times?
No, it wasn't just like old times, but when you're sitting there and you're looking around and you see so little people in the crowd, but the chants just still echoing through the arena, through the Garden, that was really cool.
Nice feed, Noel block on one end.
For the first run, I give MSG some props. They did a good job.
And Rich, Johnny said he felt safer at Madison Square Garden last night than he has at the local supermarket. Knicks with another home game tomorrow. Rangers bring fans in for the first time on Friday.
It sounds crazy to hear that, but when you consider the microscope these arenas are under, maybe that's a pretty good comparison there.
Yeah, and a lot of room in the arenas, too. Keep that in mind. You're only bringing 2,000 people in. There is a lot of elbow room to be had.
Social distancing to the max. Kevin, thanks. We'll see you again later.
Culture.
Hi, News 12. I just won the voice.
Community.
The first shot went into the arm of Port Washington nurse Sandra Lindsay.
Connections.
Seems like so much fun.
It was pretty hectic.
Discover News 12 New York.
Hey, look, we're happy, right?
A new way to see the best of News 12's local channels from across the tri-state area, all in one place. Now streaming 24/7 on your favorite devices. Discover News 12 New York today.
Thank you, Steve. The Harbor Yard Amphitheater in Bridgeport is no longer. It now has a new name ahead of its opening this year. News 12 Connecticut's Marissa Alter reports on the big announcement from downtown Bridgeport.
Hi guys, I can hack whoever's next.
3 tickets.
For 20 years, it was known as the ballpark at Harbor Yard, home to the Bridgeport Bluefish.
Oh, come on!
But in 2017, the team made its final out, the city announcing plans to turn the stadium into a state-of-the-art amphitheater for concerts. Live Nation signed on to book and promote events at the Harbor Yard Amphitheater, but typical construction delays and then the pandemic put things on hold until today.
This is a moment for hope. It's a moment for promise.
This afternoon, project leaders announced the venue will now be called the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater, with the health system signing on as the title sponsor.
Let's do it loudly and clearly. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the city of Bridgeport.
The news seemed to symbolize a shift in the fight against a virus that stopped live music in its tracks. So it almost seemed fitting who got the naming rights.
It's especially important to us because our business is essentially closed and Hartford Healthcare is helping open us up.
The hope is when that happens, it'll help revitalize downtown, something Hartford Healthcare is committed to.
This is about strengthening the economic vitality in our region. And in a short period of time, we're going to see concerts, graduations, health expos, community festivals, and people coming back together in our community.
The big question, of course, is when will this place open up? Officials say right now that date is May 15th. They have 10 college graduations lined up. As for when concerts will start here, that's all dependent on the governor and the state's COVID restrictions, but everyone here is hopeful for June. In Bridgeport, Marissa Alter, News 12, Connecticut.
The governor made his pitch for legal marijuana. He says it's time to stop talking and start acting. News 12 Connecticut's John Craven in our newsroom. John, the clock is ticking here.
Well, Della, recreational pot is now legal in Massachusetts. It's legal in Vermont and New Jersey. And New York could pass it in weeks. Governor Lamont says Connecticut is getting left behind. Could 2021 finally be the year Connecticut goes green?
Thanks for being here. Good morning, all.
At a virtual roundtable Wednesday, Governor Lamont made his most direct pitch yet.
Prohibition doesn't work. It wasn't called the Roaring 20s because everybody gave up alcohol, and Al Capone and the underground market took over for a period of time.
Under Lamont's plan, legal marijuana sales would begin next summer in 2022. Although towns could opt out. As for possession, if you're at least 21, you could have 1.5 ounces.
This is like the worst nightmare for organized crime drug dealers because, all of this historically has existed in the black market.
Some criminal records for pot possession would be automatically wiped clean. But at the state capitol, the odds are still iffy. Many Republicans say Lamont's plan goes too far. Some Democrats say it doesn't go far enough.
We got a couple months to figure out all those details and try to get to a policy proposal that reflects the priorities of a lot of people within the caucus, which is a complicated issue, but I think we can get there.
But with Governor Lamont putting his name on the effort, Middletown's mayor thinks this is the year.
It's been no one's number one priority. No individual has been out front on it. It's been a lot of people's sort of third, fourth, or fifth priority, maybe.
This has been a long time coming. We've been talking about this for ages.
Well, that we certainly have. Now, there are still a lot of questions about how marijuana would be regulated and who would get licenses. That will all be hashed out in a big public hearing on Friday. If you want to testify, just head to our News 12 app and click on this story. In the newsroom, John Craven, News 12, Connecticut.
Rich and Macy, Islanders fans haven't been inside the Nassau Coliseum for a game since March 7th of last year. Now, after a year-long pause due to the pandemic, they'll be back in the stands beginning next month, and fans say they can't wait.
Lee alone in front of the backhand score!
For the first time in a year, Islanders fans are going to have something to cheer about.
Let's go Islanders, baby.
Yes, 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 yes! Today, the team announced on its Twitter account that season ticket holders will be allowed to return to Nassau Coliseum beginning with the March 18th game against the Flyers.
Nassau Coliseum, man, there is nothing like it. There is nothing like being inside that arena.
Die-hard Isles fan William Chiarucci can't wait. He's a member of the Blue and Orange Army.
We didn't think that there'd be fans back over here. And, to have this back, it's a huge blessing to be back at the barn for sure, rocking it one more time.
Patrick Data Bayshore, a 49-year season ticket member, will be among the fans back in the stands.
The passion, the tremendous love for the team, the identity of Long Island is just, it's beyond words. It's exciting. It's going to be just great. I can't wait to get there. It's going to be fantastic.
Prior to reopening for season ticket holders, the team will invite 1,000 Northwell Health frontline staff as guests for the March 11th game against the Devils as a thank you for their heroic efforts battling the pandemic.
It's one more thing that we can do. It's a little bit normal, and I know everyone's ready for that.
The team says that in accordance with state guidelines, attendance will be limited to 10% capacity. For the Coliseum, which seats 14,500 fans, that means attendance would be about 1,400 fans. Islanders fans say they'll be able to make it feel like a packed arena, even with capacity limits. They promise to make a whole lot of noise for the Isles.
They will know how much we miss them from how energetic we're going to be in the first game when we come back on March 18th.
It is so exciting. But Virginia, what about Islanders fans who don't have season tickets? Will they be able to attend games this season?
Well, Macy, the Islanders say at this point they are still working out a plan for general admission tickets, so stay tuned.
If you're looking for something new to watch, there's so much streaming, from fun family films to the debut of an anticipated documentary.
We are never gonna be in this moment ever again.
Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry, tells the story of Billie Eilish's extraordinary rise to superstardom. It premieres on Apple TV Plus tomorrow.
Reporters keep asking me, Billie, why you do the things you do? This is what I tell them.
See Andra Day's powerful performance as legendary jazz singer Billie Holiday in The United States versus Billie Holiday, directed by Lee Daniels. It premieres tomorrow on Hulu. And here's a duo I'm sure you know. They've been entertaining audiences since 1940. Tom and Jerry are back in a brand new movie.
I will not let this hotel be ruined by a cat and a mouse.
That's Tom and Jerry the movie. The cat and mouse hijinks continue in this combination of animation and live action with an all-star cast. It's on HBO Max tomorrow. This new short film takes you into the world of the Enchanted Forest and tells the backstory to Frozen 2.
From a magic as old as the glaciers.
Myth, a Frozen Tale, focuses on the myth and legend behind the elemental spirits from the Frozen sequel. It debuts on Disney Plus tomorrow. And it's a family feel-good reboot for an iconic 80s character who I loved growing up.
Still works?
Soleil Moon Frye reprises her role, mismatched shoes and all, in Punky Brewster. The continuation of the 80s sitcom premieres today on Peacock.
There's something I've been missing. My punky power.
I've been missing it too. Good to see you again, Punky Brewster. That's what's streaming, working from home. I'm Elisa DiStefano.
Well, Cherry Hill Public Schools changing their curriculum now when it comes to what courses students will be required to take in order to graduate. The Board of Education approving a new class inspired by student activists. Details right now from News 12 New Jersey's Erica Such.
When we first started this whole entire process, we never thought we would really get this far.
Cherry Hill East senior Michaela Randall says it was the Black Lives Matter movement this summer that inspired she and fellow classmates to ask for change in their school. And starting next fall, they'll see that. The Board of Education last night approving a new graduation requirement, a course on African American history.
I think it is time to kind of open that conversation up in schools, because if not, we're leaving it up to the environment of students to teach them about things like race, and sometimes that has negative effects and biases that are involved with that.
The course will be 1 semester long and will be taken by either freshmen or sophomores starting in the fall of 2021. Now, in terms of what the course will look like, the district says it is currently in development and they're working with professors from universities to create the curriculum.
Because this is the first course of its kind, we have the opportunity to look beyond the content that is currently taught to students, which includes the enslavement of people over hundreds of years. We are looking to involve more current cultural and historical events that are taking place.
Administrators like Dr. Farah Mahan hoping this new course will better how students look at and treat their peers.
For me, it is so that when students of color and students who look like me walk into a classroom, that their counterparts are not looking at them from a marginalized or deficit perspective, and that they understand that everyone brings a great perspective and excellence into what they're being taught in their history courses.
This is just one small step for even more change, and I'm looking forward to that.
In Cherry Hill, Erica Such, News 12, New Jersey.
That course is currently being developed by the district with help from professors from universities like Monmouth, Stockton, and UPenn as well.
February is National Heart Month. Doctors are using the occasion to remind people, even in this pandemic, we all should be getting our regular checkups and not be afraid to visit your doctor or the hospital if something feels wrong. News 12's Brian Donahue has the story of one Perth Amboy couple who combines that message with a great love story.
He's extremely romantic. After 26 years, I still get love letters.
To talk to Charles and Audrey Gaskin is to revel in the presence of a long married couple still deeply in love.
He told me 2 weeks after I met him I was going to be his wife. I said, "You are crazy. I don't know you and you don't know me." 5 years later, I said yes.
On January 26th, after a year in which both survived COVID-19 and Charles lost his father to the disease, Charles was out on a walk when he felt something very, very wrong.
And I literally get a tightness in my chest.
He was rushed to Hackensack University Medical Center, where doctors found 4 blocked arteries and booked him for emergency quadruple bypass surgery. And the next day, heart problems hit Audrey Gaskin.
It feels like the ground is moving.
She drove herself to her cardiologist at Hackensack University.
He puts the machine on me. He said, "You're under cardiac distress. I've got to bring you in the hospital."
So now these two hearts beating together for so long were both on the brink. With the two of them on separate floors in the hospital, Audrey was forced to tell Charles a white lie, that she was just there to be treated for sciatica. She did it to protect his heart.
I wouldn't tell him anything. So I've spoken to him, but I don't want him to know because I don't want him stressed.
Doctors rescued Audrey from the brink of heart failure. Charles's surgery was a success.
I write her a love letter as soon as I come out of surgery.
The heart itself is essentially a pump, but in cultures throughout history, it's also been seen as the seat of the soul. And in recent years, scientists have argued that modern medicine has done almost all it can to prevent physical heart disease, that we need to do better improving the emotional factors that can stress the heart, helping the metaphorical heart to improve the physical heart. And so, as Audrey and Charles recovered, the hospital broke protocol and moved Charles and Audrey Gaskin into the same room, in beds side by side.
And what did it mean for you two to be able to share that hospital room together?
Oh my God.
It helped us heal.
It really did.
It was almost a comedy skit because we had fun with all the nurses and the
We
doctor
feed off of each other.
coming in.
Charles and Audrey are home now recovering after receiving the ultimate medicine for the heart, however you define it. I'm Brian Donahue. That's Positively New Jersey.
I love this couple and their story and the message we all need to listen to, okay? So take heed.
Well, they're the people you call when you need help the most. 911 dispatchers deal with crisis on a daily basis. But today, they got some extra thanks for all that they do. And News 12's Alexa Farrell with more now on Operation Gratitude.
A little gratitude.
Hey, New York City 911, do you need police, fire, medical?
Goes a long way.
The 911 operators and dispatchers are the unsung heroes of the police department.
Those sometimes overlooked heroes getting recognized by Operation Gratitude today.
You're that, calm voice before the police arrive, before the fire department arrives, and to recognize them and say, you know what, we appreciate what you do.
The thousands of bags were full of pens, chapstick, coffee, and candy.
A lot of candy. Someone knows me.
But most sincerely, some handmade items.
Every single care package has this specially designed paracord survival bracelet. Someone took the time to make that. And then, every single care package contains letters of appreciation.
Each of the bags had handwritten thank you notes to help kind of bridge the gap between first responders and civilians.
We are hopeful everything will improve soon. The Lloyd family.
Does that give you hope?
Yes, it does.
And even though a thank you note may seem like a small act of kindness, Operation Gratitude CEO Kevin Schmiegel says it's a start.
This is about bringing communities together. This is about creating understanding.
We would like to get a little bit of recognition, and we do, so this is awesome.
It does mean a lot. Sometimes just those two words could mean the world to somebody.
Over 6,000 bags were given out to 911 dispatchers and NYPD officers today. Alexa Farrell, News 12.
Neighborhood spot in Bushwick that's been around for nearly a decade had to close last month because of the cold weather.
But good news, the doors at Sweet Science are back open for delivery, takeout, and both outdoor and indoor dining. News 12's Emily Lorsch checked it out, tells us more.
We've had to close for a month. It was just for the whole month of January. It just didn't make any sense to be open just because of the struggles of it.
But Sweet Science here on Graham Avenue is back open for indoor dining too.
We're hopeful. Things are looking up.
Here at Sweet Science, there are several different rooms customers can be seated in. The tables are spaced at least 6 feet apart, and the staff has a whole new cleaning procedure.
We spray people down when they come through, spray their hands, front and back, and then also the bottom of their shoes.
The staff also takes customers' temperatures and information for contact tracing.
And we clean all counter surfaces and the doorknobs every hour.
Owner James Freeman says it wasn't easy to have to close the doors of his firstborn last month.
It was insane. I went insane, man. I was pacing. My sleep was irregular. It's like being awake and being in the dark. You just didn't know what the next step is.
But he's excited to not only have his restaurant back open, but to be able to bring his staff back and have people dining inside again, too.
It's great. It feels like kind of getting back to what it used to be.
Once again, bringing people together safely, of course, and also that sense of comfort they've been without for months.
It's where you come and you're a regular and people know your name. It's where you're wanted and not tolerated.
And he says he's staying optimistic. He hopes as more people get vaccinated and coronavirus numbers go down, more people will be able to come in and enjoy the sweet science experience.
We've been dealt like buckets of lemons, let's just make lemonade.
In Bushwick, Emily Lorsch, News 12.
Well, as we celebrate Black History Month, we are spotlighting a Westchester town that wants to create a permanent memorial to the Black Lives Matter movement.
News 12's Michelle Brown has the story from Greenburgh.
Right now, it is a bland slab of concrete. But in a few months, the Manhattan Avenue underpass under Interstate 287 in White Plains will be transformed into an urban museum of sorts, depicting more than 400 years of Black history in America.
This mural will depict that struggle, but it will also depict the successes that Blacks have managed to achieve despite the kind of limitations that have been placed on their lives.
I think it's a beautiful idea to add some color to the area, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
The Black Lives Matter mural, just one aspect of a three-part project now underway in Greenburgh. A project inspired by a nationwide Black Lives Matter movement.
Not justice, not peace.
It's very important to us to make sure that the public and the students involved understand that it's more than just a slogan. It's more than just a moment in time.
The first part of Greenburgh's encompassing Black Lives Matter project involves creating and placing signs at various entry points into the town, like here on Tarrytown Road, Route 119. The signs will say all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. Another part of the project includes hanging banners created by students from some town buildings. As for the mural, which will be created by local artists, the goal is to have it finished by the summer. In Greenburgh, Michelle Brown, News 12.
The Greenburgh's Black Lives Matter project is estimated to cost between $30,000 and $50,000. Town leaders say they're searching for additional funding and grants to lessen the cost burden on the town.